The starting point when we're learning how to teach language is to ask the question, what is language? This then leads to further questions. Who has language? Do just humans have language? Do animals have language? Do flowers have language? This then leads to other questions. How do we learn a language? And finally, to the question you're going to learn throughout this course, how do we teach language? Let's take a look at what the experts have to say about what language is. Linguist Charles Hockett is a really good place to start. What he did is he determined that there are 10 design features of communication that make it into a language. So we'll look at these design features one at a time. And as we're doing this, remember every single one of these 10 features has to be present in order for communication to actually be called a language. The first design feature is the vocal auditory channel. This simply means that a language has to make use of our vocal cords and our speaking ability, as well as our hearing ability. The second design feature that Hockett identified is called arbitrariness. This simply means that there's absolutely no logic as to why a cat is called a cat, and a dog is called a dog, and a chair is called a chair. We simply somehow, at some point way back in our history, decided that these are what these objects would be called. The third design feature of a language is called semanticity. Semanticity means that our words have meanings associated with them. So the word chair, for example, is used for objects that have 4 legs, usually, and they are things that we sit on. The word table, also with 4 legs, is used for objects that we either eat from or work on. The fourth design feature is called cultural transmission. This simply means that one generation gives the knowledge of the language to the next generation. So the language is transmitted from one group of people to the next group of people and the next group, and so on from one generation to the next. The fifth design feature is spontaneous usage. This simply means that we're totally free to produce language whenever and wherever we want to. The next design feature, I think we're up to number 6 here, is called turn-taking. Turn-taking simply means that when 2 or more people are communicating, they have this set of rules that they follow to decide who talks when. So we take turns and we have rules that govern whether I'm going to talk or you're going to talk or someone else is going to talk. The seventh design feature is called duality. Duality simply means that there are 2 layers to a language. There are all the pieces of a language that on their own don't really mean anything. And then underneath that, there's the meaning that's made from how those pieces of the language are put together. So at the top, we may have the cat is black. Okay, that's our top layer. But when we put them together and I say, oh, look, the cat is black, there's a meaning that I communicate by using those particular words in that particular order. The next design feature, number 8, is called displacement. Displacement means that I can use language to talk about something that's actually not here. So I can use language to talk about somebody who's in another room or in another country. And I don't need to have these things here in order for me to talk about them using language. The ninth design feature, we're almost to the end here, is called structure dependence. This means that a language has these underlying patterns, and everyone who uses the language knows those patterns, and those patterns contribute to the meaning of the communication that goes on. We're at the end. The last design feature, number 10, is called creativity. And this is the best one. With a language, we can say whatever we want. And we can say it in lots and lots of different ways. There's not just one way to say, it's a beautiful day outside. I could say, the sun is shining. I could say, oh, it's so warm, I love it. I could say, hey, what do you think about that weather? Isn't it great? So there's a lot of different ways that we can say the same thing, and we're totally free to pick whichever way we want. These are the 10 design features of language, and this is actually what language is. As you're taking the rest of this course, remember these 10 design features of language and think about how these impact the work you're doing teaching a language and the work your students are doing learning a language.